Nothing crazy or extravagant going on around here. I'm just trying to build and live a decent, high quality life as an expatriate in Vietnam. To come out, and I live here now. This is where I chose to spend my retirement. And it's been several years, and it's going to be for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to come out here, screwing around, and living like some cheap, low rent bum, like so many do. And you have a lot of vloggers that when they see somebody attempting to do something normal out here, they get upset. They get envious and they get confused because they don't understand the simple concept that, I want to come out here and establish a lifestyle, live decently, not amongst a lot, you guys have heard this story before, amongst a lot of chaos and noise and stupidity and insanity like so many Western tourists do trying to live out in Southeast Asia. This is every home has a little nest, right? TV watching nest. This is ours. That treadmill does get used. We've got a nice dining set, adequate for our needs. We got a couple, tall bar stool chairs here to look outside and have coffee by the window. It's great. We've hung some paintings on the walls, to give the space some color. Had one bozo make the claim about me and my wife living out here in Vietnam that all we do is sit in our house and buy curtains and shades. Can you believe that kind of asinine, ridiculous statement? When we bought the place out here in the country where it's sunny and warm because it's Vietnam, of course you have to buy room darkening shades and curtains and, to block everything off for, energy conservation, as well as, several other reasons, to block out the sun, to keep the room cool, and things like that, to save on energy costs, blah, blah, blah. One of the things we did, we've got a fine, powerful air conditioner, but we have an open plan space down here on the first floor. So what was happening is we had two choices. Change that aircon unit out to something like insane so that it could cool down the whole first floor, or divide the room. And so we chose to put these dividers in to block off half the space. And now we can have that aircon on like 28 Celsius, which is, in my opinion, ridiculously high. And the room is like super cool. So that's fantastic. In the morning, as it is now, the sun comes up on this side of the house, when temps are not that intense. So it's fine. And then by the time the sun passes over the center of the house and comes down onto this side is when it's the hottest part of the day. That's why we have the bamboo outside here growing to give the shade to this whole entire side. This whole entire wall space is now shaded, providing additional cooling. And so, yeah, it works out perfectly. So out here if it needs a little bit of cool air, we just split open the divider a little bit and let some of the air-conditioned cool air come on out into this space, which works very well. If my wife's cooking lunch or something and, you know, wants a little cool air, she can get it on demand. You know, that's our junk room in here. Do you really need to see it again? Might as well, right? Just fishing gear. We've got an old cabinet that our parents gave us that we're using for storage. Our bicycles are in here. The e-bikes and the regular bikes. All kinds of ladders, some water. You know, every house has a junk room, if you have a house. Our laundry room, we added a cabinet right here, which is really cool. It fits just really nice in the space with our washer and sink and, you know, toilet and shower. But, and then we added, you know, we had the really nice kitchen space. We had a few paintings, you know, threw in a little color here and there. But what we did was we finished the uppers. So this wall used to be, the cabinet would stop there. Well, we just added and finished it off now so that we have a full upper wall of cabinets. A better fit, more storage space. We also added this kitchen island, which is on wheels, and it can be moved around. So cool, that's my idea. I wanted that. Let's see, switch those. I've got some breakfast buns warming up in there that I want to switch over to warm. Oh yeah, we're proceeding to show you the second floor patio. That's all. Water fan, just basically to keep the upper space where all the hot air gets trapped cool. We'll run that fan when we need to. Not a big deal. More room darkening shades, which is a no-brainer. Have to have them. A little cabinet addition just to fill and decorate the space. The wife's sewing room, and added this cabinet, which is really cool. I like this side door, almost invisible side door. That's cool. And all her sewing stuff and other things are in there. So that's a nice, wanted storage. My wife and I talked about wanting storage so that, you know, things are not, you know, strewn all over the place. The bedroom. Been there, done that. Second floor patio. The additions here are basically the railings, the full set of railings, which we kind of needed. Not that we're adults, we're not gonna, you know, drunkenly walk up to the edge of the second story patio and fall over, but the space needed to be finished. As you can see, we've added a lot of greenery up here, and the railings being finished as they are really just, you know, it finishes off the space, plain and simple. You know, can sit down here and it's nice and cool and, you know, covered and relaxing. And you can sit here and just chill out. You can see how the bamboo has grown stretched out to the second floor, second story and even higher, approaching the top of the house, sorta, kinda. And it's fantastic. It's great. I think it's crazy, but it's also really cool. So we added a bunch of plants, and those things are going to grow, and everything's going to be okay. And what else? Oh no, just a big, large, relaxing space. And the railings make it really look cool. I'm technically going to cut the bamboo down. And the reason I'm going to do that is this is the space for our sunset views, our mountain views and our sunset views. You, of course, can see the mountains in the background. A little hazy today. The mountain range, which extends from way over there and all the way down and around to this side. I love this space and the mountain views from up here, as you guys know. That's it. So that's part 2. That wraps it up for now. Keep working on the space. So yeah, want to clear this out. We're going to move some of these plants, cut the bamboo down, or we'll see. Possibly I can just, clear out a space and stand over against my new railings and watch the sun go down, the beautiful sunsets. Oh, and they are so amazing here. Other than that, I see the swifts flying around the rice fields this morning. Usually it's late in the evening that they do that, but they're out today because it got a little breeze and everything's cool. Yeah, we got a new lemon tree we added. Got a ways to go before those are ripe. And that's it, my friends. Thank you. Thank you very much for tuning in and for understanding. This is normal. This is normal life. This is normal life. This is establishing a true life out here, as I've preached so often. It's so anti deadbeat, low rent roach, pathetic Westerner that comes out to Southeast Asia, any of the countries out here, to live like a cheap bum in a shoebox apartment or some kind of really grotesque, old, dirty rental. That's a waste of life. That's not living. They come out here and rent like shit for like $100 a month, and they're just surviving out here. They're not living in any way, shape, or form. They're just surviving as bums in a third world country. Of course, when you're living like a bum in a third world country, because that's all you can afford, that means you would be a homeless bum back in America or Europe. And I know that for a fact. That's why they come out here in the first place as economic refugees. Indigent economic refugees come out here to live like bums. Total disasters, total bums. And when you press them and you pin them down, and ask them, why would you come out here just to live like that? It makes no sense. Why? The response you get from generally quite a few of them is, I'm a minimalist, man. I want to live a minimalist lifestyle. That's what I'm doing, man. Okay, man? And it's like, get out of here. What kind of weak BS reasoning and excuse is that? Oh, I'm a minimalist. No, you're not. You're not a minimalist. You're a bum. You're a life fail and a bum. Don't come out here and dirty up the place by living like a damn bum. Nobody wants that. Women talking to each other across the rice fields. Perfectly culturally acceptable. That's what they do. You know, now I like it because, people would take cell phones and call each other from, 1 block away. Hey, are you there yet? Here in Vietnam, out in the countryside, they just call out across, the rice fields to each other, which makes a lot more sense to me. I gotta wrap it up. I don't want to bore you guys too long. So yeah, these are the additions. Eventually I'm gonna come out here, and I've got the space, of course, so I'm gonna put a golf hitting net out here. And I'm gonna see if maybe I will enclose the space in a certain way. And there's a plug behind the tree here. But anyways, move this tree and hang a monitor, maybe a 40-inch TV monitor up here, and build an outdoor golf simulator. And that's a consideration. At a minimum, I'll get a golf net and a golf mat out here so I can hit golf balls. But I'm seriously thinking about simulator. just a monitor with a not too expensive simulator, so that when I hit the golf ball, I can look at the monitor in almost like a video game fashion, where it'll have a real course. You guys know how that works. Thinking about that. So spend a lot of time out here. This is my home. This is our home. This is where we spend most of our time. So we wanted it, as I've described many, many times, peaceful, serene, quiet, relaxing, chill. Nothing insane, nothing crazy going on out here. But dress up our space, make our space ultra, super nice, and happy. Because this is where we spend our time. I can't do what I've explained a lot of these bums do, where they rent these bummy places, these cheap bummy places in these awful locations, and where it's noisy and chaotic and stupid, and then talk about they're a minimalist, which is like, we're so ridiculous. Yeah, that's not living. That's just surviving. That's not a happy thing. That's a sad and depressing thing to me. That's living a sad and depressing life. Compared to what I've built out here, yeah, absolutely don't want to do what they're doing. I want to do what I'm doing. Have a great day, folks.